One of the things that all of us really should know about is a movie called Pardon Me. If you haven't seen Pardon Me, you have to. I mean, you don't have an option, it's a requirement of the job. Um, but the film, which is now up there on your screen, is, as you can see, has won lots of awards all around the country, from up here in the Poconos to out there in Hollywood. Seriously, Hollywood. And the director, producer, person who imagined it all, Sujat Moore, is still somebody who is under sentence. So this is something that speaks about the pardon system in ways that speak to everyone. It's an easy device to get people into a room, learning what pardons are, why they're important, and what we can all do to make sure that those who deserve pardons get in line for them. Uh, we started this off well, the film started being shown in the September of 2023, and some of the folks that it inspired were Kutztown University. And Heather Kurvila is with us this morning to talk about what she and one of her colleagues, Dr. Leslie Sotomayor, did when they learned about this film. So, Heather, I'm turning it over to you, and thank you for joining us. She is at a conference in DC, and she has to leave at about quarter of. So we're going to make it a short presentation, impactful, put questions or comments in the chat, and we'll see what we can do with them. Take it away, Heather.
Great. Good morning. Thank you, everyone, for having me here today. I am actually, like Toby said, I'm down in DC. I'm attending the annual meeting of law school diversity professionals. So definitely don't want to miss any of the content for the conference happening this morning. I appreciate you letting me just kind of come in, drop some information, and run off. But I will be putting my contact info in the chat before I go. So my colleague, Leslie, at Kutztown University, she's the Frederick Douglass Institute Scholar for the Department of Art Education. At the time, I was the program coordinator for the Masters in Arts Administration, and we connected over our desire to be using principles surrounding restorative and transformative justice in our education spaces. So she's educating the next generation of teachers, K-12 teachers, and I was educating the next generation of arts administrators with a heavy focus on community engagement, community involvement, and community power sharing. So that's how we came to this project. She came across the film, Pardon Me, thought it was a great resource that we could use in our classrooms, but we also wanted to collaborate with Shuja and his team in making a film discussion guide for the screenings. The idea being that there's a ton of really wonderful information in the film. I will reiterate, if you haven't seen it, you absolutely should see it. It's an amazing documentary, but we thought that there was more that people could have, especially for public screenings, that would encourage conversation and dialogue, and using the film as a catalyst to challenge your own preconceptions, misconceptions about people who are involved in the criminal justice system, who have been impacted by it, their communities, their families, and also to provide people a way to what we are saying is, a call to action. Like, okay, you've seen the film, you've learned some, what are the next steps for you as an individual? So we took all of those big ideas and condensed them down into a film discussion guide. And I'm going to share my screen with you now.
Okay, it's up.
Okay. So let me just move some things around on my screen. Okay, so here's the cover. It's this just got finalized. Shuja worked with an amazing graphic designer named Hannah Carnes to clean up and make it a lot more professional for everyone. We have our dedication page. One thing I do want to highlight, and I'll zoom in a little bit, is if you use this as a digital resource, and this is going to be a free digital resource available online for anyone to use, the links that you see throughout the document are live links. So if you're using it as a digital document, you can click out to, oh, it's probably not sharing it to you.
Sorry. I'll tell you when it comes on. Yep. There it is. It's on.
Okay, so when I clicked that link, it just popped up in another window on my laptop. So it is very easy to use in that sense. We'll go back to the film discussion guide. And there
Go
are
back.
tons
Yep.
of links and resources throughout this document. We also have a lot of really just powerful quotes from the film. Hannah was able to get, these amazing stills from it to really bring the film to life in the discussion guide. So we have film facts, and we have, let me zoom out a little bit more so it'll scroll better. We have some themes to help, frame those face-to-face or, these digital conversations with anyone that you're presenting this with. And then we dig into the background. So the early parts are kind of to set the stage for the film and how important it is, how impactful it is, and then giving the background information that a lot of people don't know. If you haven't been impacted by the criminal justice system, you don't know necessarily the difference between the different levels. And, what's the difference between the county jail? What does it mean when people talk about private for-profit prisons? So we wanted to give an overview on that type of material. And then also the timeline of a criminal trial. Again, a lot of people don't know these things. I do have a JD. I was a practicing attorney, but I was horrible in criminal law classes and I never practiced in the area. So, I was an IP girl and I could tell you everything you need to know about copyright and trademark. But this was information that I knew, even though I had some training, wasn't fully accessible to me. And just the lay people who were coming into contact with this film, again, if they don't have that personal knowledge, they don't know a lot of this information. So, let me scroll back, what does it mean that there's an arraignment, a preliminary hearing? Is that the same as a trial? We know that it's not, but someone who doesn't have that knowledge doesn't know these things. So just laying it out in a very, trying to use language that will be accessible to anyone. What is a plea bargain? This is super important in this area. We know that people can feel pressured, for what a variety of reasons to take that plea bargain, to not go forward with, the trial. What are the impacts of having those records? Again, even people who take a plea bargain might not necessarily realize the longstanding impact it's going to have on their life, and the people watching the film might not realize that right away, though it is explored very well, I would say, in the film. And then, of course, the pardon process, which, again, you are all very familiar with, but for people approaching this film without that knowledge, they won't know these things and certainly don't know how long it can take. So then getting into the film itself, one of the goals that I said at the beginning was for this to be a resource to help people engage in dialogue, some critical thinking, kind of grappling with their own preconceived notions that they might have. So we have some discussion guides or discussion questions for before you view the film. People can do this on their own, or if you're doing this with a group, this could be, let's all round up in a circle and have a conversation about this. And really trying to get people to look into themselves as well in their own communities. So, what's the worst thing that you've ever done? Were you caught? Were you punished for it? People who might not think about it, if they take the time and reflect, might remember something simple, the, minor vandalism that teenagers get into on, Devil's Night, or something that they was shoplifted when they were a kid, and realize, these are the types of things that can have impacts if you're in a heavily policed community, or, just the bad luck of being in that place at that time. And then again, discussion questions for after viewing the film. And this really starts digging into some of the stories that are explored, the people that are met, how the stories that are told in the film, meet heads with the preconceived ideas you've had before you went into the film. Did these individuals look like, and I'm putting this in quotes, I don't think you can see me, did they look like, did they sound like what you thought of as a criminal, right? Were you able to know, looking at a certain person who is, it's related later in the film that he has a criminal record as well. When you are introduced to him as an attorney in a suit in an office at a big desk, were you thinking this is someone with a criminal record, or did you assume this is not the type of person who would have that record? So the film discussion guides are helping, once you've watched the film, to reflect and dig back and not just watch the film and move on with your day, but really think about what it is that you've seen. So place for notes, of course. And then this, I think, is a really important resource. This format and some of the inclusions in it were provided to us by Temple University's Department of Criminal Justice. So I want to give them their accolades for already having had a resource like this. This, again, is all live links. So it is everything from low effort to medium effort to high effort. So, contacting your legislatures all the way up through helping to organize a working group and create a pardon hub. And there's 2 pages of these. So people can engage in this work at the level that they're comfortable with and hopefully work their way across from those low effort, starts to the higher efforts, like becoming a pardon coach or hosting a screening of Pardon May. This is additional resources for people looking to keep learning in this space, everything from articles to some books, Angela Davis's Are Prisons Obsolete, pardon application and instructions for people who want to seek a pardon or want to get involved, social justice links for some important organizations working in this space, and then some additional film documentary series. 13th on Netflix is, a powerful piece, stamped from the beginning, and Shuja's earlier series, Walkies, which is available online. We are, academics, so we've got all of our citations, of course, and then we do include, for anyone who wants to use this as a physical resource, we include a direct link. So anything that was a live link in the document at the end, we have them here for you so you can still access those resources. And then just a little bit about us at the end. So I'm going to stop sharing unless there's anything someone wants me to scroll back to specifically.
Since she's going to be walking out the door in just 2 minutes, how about if anyone has any questions right now, burning, unmute yourself and ask, but I'm only going to allow 2 minutes before she flees and goes back to her conference.
I have a quick question, I think. This is Yvonne. I'm interested in hosting a screening at the beginning. Interested in hosting a screening that you just pull it up and put your information in. Is that for us to, to the public around, for us?
Yes. Yeah, Yvonne, as you'll be hearing, one of the things we're trying to do over the next 6 months is inspire lots of these screenings around the state, but we'll get back to that one. Any other question for Heather?
Okay.
Is the guide available now?
It will be when I send it to you after the show.
Awesome.
We just finished it last night.
You are seeing truly just freshly born. It just got finalized last night. So it will be available.
Well, it looks great, and I can't wait to see it.
Thank you.
And this has been a work in progress for quite some time, and a big wow and a big, big thank you.
All right.
I'm putting my contact information in the chat. That's my work number, my work email. And I did also want to say, I don't know where everyone's at and, where you're working in this spaces, but Leslie and I are actively working on another version of this for K-12 educators that will take more of the form of a restorative justice lesson plan built around Pardon May. So if you have colleagues working in that K-12 space, that will be available. We're aiming for, we had said late spring, it might be early summer, but that's something that we're actively working on. It will include a multi-arts lesson plan for K-12 students. And that will also be a digital resource that will be available online. So if you're interested in that and you want to drop me an email and let me know, then once that's available, I'll be happy to send you that link directly. And I can also send it to Toby. I'm sure he can send it out to all of his networks.